Eliab was the kind of man who looked like a king. He was tall, strong, and carried himself with confidence. As the eldest son of Jesse, he was the one everyone expected to lead, the one people assumed would rise to greatness. But sometimes God chooses differently than man. Eliab grew up in Bethlehem, the firstborn in a family of 8 sons. As the eldest, he likely carried great responsibility, helping his father with the fields, the flocks, and the household. His younger brothers would have looked up to him, especially David, the youngest of them all. When King Saul led Israel to war against the Philistines, Eliab was among the men chosen to fight. He joined the army and stood on the battlefield, ready to defend his people. But this war was unlike any other. From the enemy's side, a giant named Goliath stepped forward. He was nearly 10 feet tall, a warrior from childhood, covered in bronze armor that gleamed under the sun. His voice boomed across the valley as he challenged Israel's soldiers. "Choose a man to fight me. If he wins, we will serve you. But if I win, you will serve us." For 40 days, Goliath came out every morning and evening, mocking Israel and defying their God. Not one soldier dared to step forward. Even Eliab, strong and experienced, stayed silent. Then came David. David was not a soldier, he was a shepherd, sent by Jesse to bring food to his brothers. But when he arrived at the camp and heard Goliath's taunts, something inside him stirred. While everyone else saw a giant too powerful to fight, David saw an enemy too weak to stand against the Lord. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? David asked. Eliab overheard his younger brother speaking and became furious. He turned to David and snapped, "Why did you come down here? And with whom did you leave those few sheep in the wilderness? I know how proud you are and how wicked your heart is. You just came to watch the battle." David, taken aback, responded, "What have I done now? Can't I even speak?" Eliab's words reveal his heart. Perhaps he was embarrassed that his little brother, a mere shepherd, was speaking so boldly when he himself had done nothing. Perhaps he was jealous that David had a faith and courage he lacked. Or maybe, deep down, he feared that David's presence would expose the truth, that Israel's warriors, including himself, had lost sight of their trust in God. But David did not let Eliab's anger stop him. He turned away and kept speaking, until word of his boldness reached King Saul. Before long, David was standing in front of the king, offering to fight the giant himself. Armed with nothing but a sling and 5 smooth stones, David faced Goliath. The giant laughed, but David declared, "You come against me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." With one swift throw, David's stone struck Goliath's forehead, and the mighty Philistine crashed to the ground. Israel's army erupted with a roar, chasing after the fleeing Philistines in victory. Eliab saw it all. He had mocked his brother, doubted his intentions, and yet it was David, not him, who defeated the enemy. After that day, David's life changed forever. He was honored, loved by the people, and eventually anointed as the next king of Israel. But Eliab? His name fades into the background. Though Eliab was strong, he lacked the faith that made David great. He looked like a leader, but God was looking for something deeper. When the prophet Samuel had first come to anoint a new king, he saw Eliab and thought, "Surely this is the one the Lord has chosen." But God told him, "Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him." The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Eliab teaches us an important lesson. God does not choose based on strength, status, or appearance. He chooses based on the heart. While Eliab was passed over, David was chosen, not because of his size but because of his faith. His story challenges us to ask, are we more concerned with how we appear, or with the faith we carry inside? Because in the end, it is not the strongest but the faithful who are called by God to do great things.